how are you? My name is Alice Munyua. I am a nurse practitioner, and today we're gonna talk about bipolar disorder. I was gonna call it a disease, but then I stopped. It's actually a disorder. A disorder means that something is out of order, so that is bipolar. Bipolar was discovered many years ago, I think in the 1800s, by a French psychiatrist. And the way he used to describe it, he described it as circular insanity. When you think about a circle, circular insanity, what comes to my mind is something that's going loud in a circle. And then later on, they called it manic depressive, because the bipolar is actually a mood disorder. Sometimes people have an elevated mood. They are happy, they are laughing a lot, they are engaging with people, they have a lot of energy, they are working a lot, they are spending money, sometimes money they don't have. I've actually known somebody who went and bought 5 luxury cars when they were in this manic or expansive state of mind. So then the same person, in a few weeks or maybe next month, you might see them go into a depressive mood. A depressive mood where they have no interest in social activities, they have low energy, they are sleeping too much, they have difficult concentrating on things. So you see a depressed mood. So that up highs and lows. The highs and lows is like somebody on a seesaw. One minute they're up, next week they're down. Next week they're up, the following week they're down. That kind of up and down is bipolar. Now, the way they describe bipolar, imagine if you had like an atom, and every atom has a positive and a negative charge. So imagine those are 2 poles. This one is positive, this one is negative. The mood of a person keeps going back and forth between the 2 poles. So that is bipolar in a nutshell. But now, bipolar is not a normal state of behavior. People are not supposed to swing from high moods to low moods like that. You're supposed to be even keel. You know, you go in the middle. You can be happy, but not overly excited. Not to a point where you don't have any need for sleep. And then you spend all your energy, then come next week, you can't get out of bed. That is not normal. But sometimes you see this behavior, especially with people who are creative. When they get stuck on an idea, they get stuck maybe trying to compose a piece of music, maybe write a book. You will find that these people, they work for long hours. They have a lot of energy because the thoughts are coming in and they are excited about whatever it is that they are creating. And then once they are finished with that project, they just sleep. Well, that is not exactly bipolar, but it does look like it. But that's where you find like creative people, some of them don't know how to manage their time. Because when you're stuck on an idea or when you're creating a project, most people don't want to take a break because they feel like if they do that, this creative energy will kind of dissipate and then they won't be able to pick up. But I don't know what to do about that. I have no issue with that. If you know that you're not engaging in dangerous behavior, but most people who have bipolar also engage in dangerous behavior. That's where they are taking risks. They are spending money they don't have. Now that goes a little overboard. And also, when you go into a depressive mood, if it's actually affecting your relationship with other people, it's affecting your livelihood. Let's say you are unable to go to work because you're depressed. That's a problem. But now, I was actually diagnosed with bipolar. But you will have to read my story to understand what actually happened. Now, the diagnosis that I tell people it was the wrong diagnosis because the doctor did something wrong. They combined 2 events and called it bipolar. Now, I've never been depressed in my life, never been. But she took an incident, my doctor I'm talking about, she took an incident that happened to me 18 years ago when my mom passed away and I was crying a lot. I was never I never stopped going to work. I never stopped taking care of my kids, but I was crying a lot. If you talked about my mom, I would just start crying. And she said that I grieved for my mother too long because this happened for a good 2 years. But in the 2 years, I was still engaging in social activity. It's only that I could not talk about my mom without crying. So she said that was depression. Well, that's not depression. People, we have to give people room to grieve. If you have loss of something, let's say you lost a loved one, you can grieve. And nobody should tell you how long to grieve or how to grieve. We just need to allow people room to grieve, but we can't call that depression. So in that case, I say my doctor was wrong, because I don't know what she was thinking. I know in just my nursing practice, I know to give people room to grieve when they need to grieve if they've lost something. And loss of something could be anything. It could be a marriage breaking up. It could be maybe a child passing away. It could be anything. When you're grieving, people need that room to grieve. So that's not depression. If there's a reason why you're depressed and you're taking time out to just grieve the loss, that's not depression, and that's not bipolar either. So with bipolar, let me just give you a case example. And I told you that people who are creative usually have these sorts of energies. But when they are finished with a project, then, they just take time off and they slow down. That's still not bipolar. If they would know how to manage their time, maybe take a break here and there, maybe slow down so they can stop all these creative thoughts from coming in, maybe play some soothing music, maybe take a bath, go to sleep, they would never run into that mood swing. But I remember one time I was talking to a group of nurses, and when I was done talking, this lady came up to me and she says, well, your case was different, but my case, she said, my case is really, really different. I really have bipolar. And she swore on that she has bipolar because if she don't take medication, she cannot sleep. That's exactly what she told me. And I want to go by that because that's a little bit more significant. If you can't sleep and you're going for days without sleep, and maybe you're having nightmares, you probably may have bipolar. But you'll be shocked to know that bipolar is actually, it can be caused by a spirit of bipolar. So if you find yourself not being able to sleep, and you need medication to sleep, there's a problem. The one thing you have to ask yourself is, why can't you sleep? Are you having nightmares? Are you hearing things? Are you seeing visions? What kind of thoughts are you having? What is preventing you from sleep? Because the Bible says that God, who is our Father, He gives His beloved sleep. So if you find yourself that you are unable to sleep, you're dealing with a spirit, and there is a spirit of bipolar. And what needs to be done in a situation like that spirit needs to be expelled. And there's a way you can actually do your own self-deliverance, but most people don't understand mental illness very properly, so they wouldn't know how to do that. And they require help to be able to do that. Because actually with prayer and fasting, in this case, if you've never fasted before, you have to talk to a spiritual guide or a spiritual reader to guide you in how to fast. With prayer and fasting, you can actually cure yourself from bipolar. Thank you, and I hope that helped. Thank you. Oh, one more thing. My little book on bipolar, this will help you understand bipolar more, and it will also help you how to take care of it. Thank you.